When I'm telling stories is I was at an event, it was 2019 pre-COVID, right? And I get a call. It's like 2:30 in the morning. Get a call at the hotel. And I guess my cell phone was going off and my wife was didn't want to wake me up because I had a workshop the next day, right? That I was getting ready for. Big company. I think 3,000 people in the audience, right? But I was just going to do one of the side workshops with only a couple of hundred people, right? But I still had to get ready for the workshop. So I get this call, right? Now, by the way, I'm telling a story here. So I'm telling you a story. So I want you to see how I tell the story, then we're going to analyze the story, okay? So just setting that up for you guys. All right. So anyway, and I call this my 2:30 a.m. story. I give them my stories' names, right? So what happens, true story, so I get a call, and the person's call is 2:30 in the morning, and my cell phone's going off, my wife doesn't want to wake me up, right? But finally, I guess, they stopped calling my cell phone, and then they called the actual hotel telephone, right? And then I remember coming out of a groggy state, and I was like, hello. They had that hoarse voice, hello. And I go, hello. And this is all my wife hears. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What time? Okay. Sure. Okay. Right? Does that, right? And I click, I go, what happened? I go, what happened? And what's on the other line, here's what the actual call was. Victor? I said, yeah. I said, sorry to bother you, but we have an emergency. I said, yeah. She goes, we lost our keynote speaker for tomorrow morning's event at like 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:30, something like that. And we were wondering if you would do the keynote. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Yeah, okay. I said, and then I go, can you be down here at like 7:30? I said, sure. Okay, I'll be there, type of thing. And I hung up, right? That was the conversation, right? And I remember I got off the phone. I get off the phone, and my wife says, what was that? What was that? And I go, well, all I said was, they lost their speaker, and I'm doing the keynote tomorrow morning. And then my wife knows that when I'm doing a keynote, as opposed to a workshop, workshops are easy for me. I can do 2-3 hours workshop without almost any practice, so to speak. But when it comes to a keynote, she knows I take the longest showers in the world, right? Because what I do is I just let the water hit me. And for some reason, after 10 to 15 minutes, it puts me in this state. Usually if I can go to a sauna, that's even better. But after 15 minutes, it puts me into this state where I feel like it's a beautiful mind. I can craft a speech in my head and then memorize the sequence of it and then visually see myself doing it and then deliver it, right? So my brain works. And so I literally got up, went into the shower to figure the speech. I come out about an hour later and I said, all right, I think I'm ready. Got a few more hours sleep and then it just went downstairs. So here's the funny part. I get downstairs and they're like, Victor, thank you for doing this. I'm saying, not a problem. And she goes, do you want to use the whole hour or, do you want to do something less? I go, no, hour's fine. Person walks away. Another person comes. So I was talking to Ann and she says, you want to do the whole hour. You can just do half an hour if you want. I go, no, I'll do the full hour if that's what you need. He goes, is that what you need? He goes, yeah, that'd be great. And then finally the third person comes by and kind of nudges me in the same direction. Finally I said, wait a minute. I said, why do you guys keep asking me? And this is when my ego took a hit. She says, well, I got to admit, Victor, you weren't our first call. I said, you weren't our first call. I said, you were our third call. He said the first two speakers refused to do it because they didn't have enough time to prepare. And so we're like wondering how you can do that. I said, no, it'll be good. And so I did the keynote and it was fantastic, great, hit it out of the park. How do I know? The vice president comes backstage, right? I got my handler, the lady who asked me to do it. He says, whatever you're paying him, I don't know the amount, just double the invoice for him. We want to thank you, Victor. It was fantastic. And he walked away and they doubled my fee. And that's a perfect example of two things. One, I just told you a great story, right? And then in there, you get to see the dynamics of the story. It's almost like a drama unfolding, like what's going to happen. Now, if I were to really make that a full story, and this wasn't a podcast interview, I would stretch that out and then pull lessons out of that and then deliver that to the audience. And then people go, oh, but that story, even you won't forget the story, especially when I add this part. Here's the part that I usually add. Now, because at the end, people are going, what happened to the other speaker? Like, what happened? How did they lose the other speaker? What happened was the night before, the speaker got a little drunk and got a little grabby, and that the company had a zero tolerance policy. They actually took him to his room, made him pack his bag, took him downstairs, put him in a taxi, drove him to another hotel, and stuck him in another hotel, says, you're done. That's what happened. Now, you're not going to forget this story soon. you're not going to forget it because it's like, one, it's true. Two, it's kind of unique. It has a couple of twists and turns in there, right? And also there's some lessons on how to practice for a speech or whatever you want to pull from that story. And I think that's what makes a great story.